Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. And today I would like to go over the XRP price chart. Since we last left off, we've been drifting upwards, stair-stepping upwards. So we're on the 30-minute time frame here. A few videos ago, we talked about market structures and liquidity voids, and I did an example of that over here on the left on this purple box. And more recently, at the end of my last video, we recognized that this is the recent low for XRP. We realized that this price action was the new low, and now it was going to create some type of structure with order book liquidity before you would be able to get a move up. So if I go down to the 15-minute time frame, So if I go down to the 15-minute time frame here, at the end of my last video yesterday, I said, hey, it was simple. We have a flat bottom candle right here. Everything looks good down here. This looks good. This all looks good. We have a flat bottom candle right here at 2.7823. And we saw price at the time starting to move up off of this low right here. But what I suggested is that XRP will come down and revisit this low to even out the order books because it was uneven when price moved quickly away. Um, as far as what happened afterwards, we got a false bottom low here, filling out price action. You get another false bottom low here. This one has another flat candle on the bottom. And you're sitting here, these lows are way too close. Then you come over here, then this is finally your breakdown and scoops up a little liquidity here. Anyone who thinks this is the bottom, this is the bottom, but we already knew what the spot was. It was 2.7823. Very specific, I know, but that's where the flat bottom rested. Also known as a liquidity void, also known as a TVP. So as you can see here, we made another fake bottom here. And this is where retail would have piled their stops underneath. And they knew they were coming back to this level. They were able to take it out, perfectly fill out price action right at that exact level. And then you got your move up. So that's your new true value price. So we would think of the bottom of this structure as clean price action, and we'd say, okay, well now from this low of 2 point, I'll give you the exact low. So from this low of 2.6975 on Binance, from this low, you went ahead and you got clean price action all the way up here until this spot, this liquidity void right here of 2.7823. And then you came back, you took that level, and then you started pushing higher, right? So once you started pushing higher, you had some imbalances still, you know. So you got your fill here, which evened out the buck, and then you could see there's a wick here, but there wasn't a wick here. If you go to the top area, it says the low was 2.8036 and the open was 2.036. And so that would be considered a flat bottom candle, a TVP. Put that across. I do them in light blue, and you already got your fill on that area. So this one's all good to go. This one's all good to go. You have another one here. Now, I'm not saying all these areas are going to get left. Once we get an explosive move out of here, which I believe is right around the corner, once we get an explosive move out of here, some of these areas may get left, and whatever offsides orders there are, they're just gonna have to get left. But we're waiting for that moment, and there's a lot of things suggesting that we may be soon getting our move out of here. So if I go ahead, I'm gonna say let's go to the 4 hour just so I can cover this overall structure here. So we know exactly what happened on the 4 hour, right? We got something that looked like an XRP consolidation going across here, and then we got a break of the low here, taking all the orders, taking everyone's stops really and putting them underwater that were in this trade since the beginning of this pattern. Um, this pattern still is in a tight range. I mean, we got a bounce here at 2.7, and we knew from before looking at the order books and the heat map that 2.7 was a level, right? I showed that in the previous videos. And price didn't just slice through that level. It just tapped it, barely touching the wall, filled about 100,000 orders, and then perfectly rebounded on that level. 2.8, I was watching, and 2.8 was a large accumulation level at first here. That level gave way, and if you were buying, that would have been the perfect opportunity to average in lower here at 2.7. And liquidity providers didn't let it break the wall. It just got a quick reaction, didn't slice through the wall, bounced right up off a 2.7. And then you got your return move, and bids started coming in underneath it and pushed the price higher, defending that wall. So I took another picture of the heat map so we can see, okay, well, where are we at now regarding that? Um, so 2.7 over here is gonna, you still see, you barely wick this level, and so if you guys remember the maps from before, this level of 2.7 still has 890,000 sitting on CLB, and we have good stacks underneath, like this one of 513,000. And so above, what do you have? It's fairly thin. I'm not saying that orders can't come in, but it's fairly thin, at least until $3 to the upside. So you have somewhat of a void here, you know. Not to be confused with a TVP, but you have a void here that could be filled. The price could slice quickly to the upside through this void where there's not very many orders, 2.9 to 2.95, unless there's spoofing involved. And you could slice right through that and go to 3. And then that would be your next level of resistance. And then once you reach this lighter band of 3, it has 448,000. So once you reach this lighter band, it will light up even more because it's more important to the price. So right now it looks a little bit light, but once you get there, it might get a little brighter. And if we're moving up right now, $3 would be our next level to see if we can break, and if all of those orders get absorbed at 3, and then we push higher. So we're going to go back to the price action. Oh yeah, on TradingView there's a crypto boom sell. Um, so you guys know what season it is. Um, the XRP, I'm going to go to XRP. Let's see, XRP BTC, because we've been covering this structure. And I really, really enjoy this XRP BTC structure. I think this is a super important structure, mainly because the consolidation was not broken along the lows. So you had this high here, and then this, let me go out just a little bit. So you got your main leg up, which would be right here, right? You get your main leg up, and just like XRP, and then this is the same consolidation versus Bitcoin, but Bitcoin was weak, so we broke down out of the structure. But versus Bitcoin, we held the lows. We held this low here, we held this low here, we held this low here, and we held this low here. So far, we have a three-wave consolidation perfectly in line with XRP's normal price movement. We came down and we did a stop hunt on the normal XRP price chart, which I think allowed larger players to load up here. And it's possible that we're getting ready for a move to turn around to the upside. You can even see how these areas get filled. I mean, even, on different price charts, you got this flat bottom candle here, barely any price action there, not a good wick, came back down and refilled that, even on XRP BTC. Um, but it's not 100%, you know? Sometimes the market moves in different ways that you can't expect. And it's not always a perfect science, you know? But these areas, TVPs, flat bottom candles, flat top candles, tend to be revisited. And we're seeing if we're going to get a move up here. Is this our third wave? If this level holds right here of 2499 on the XRP BTC, um, then we're going to get our move up. And when we do get to this upper band here of 2774, once we get a break at that level, I believe it will be explosive because that's the breakout move. Once you break this wall at the top, you know, you have a void in the order book where price can slice through quickly and momentum can build. So it looks as though we did get a floor. You know, I'm super excited. I think this pattern, XRP, BTC held. And you know, you have a lot of other patterns that are extremely similar that are holding. So it's a macro event. It's not just related to XRP. If I go ahead and I go to, let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and go to a theta chart. Okay, that looks absolutely horrible. Um, let's do USDT and then go OKX. Okay, here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to a theta chart. Normally I don't talk about this token as much, you know. I participated with this token in the previous cycle, but you know, it's been fairly dead right now, but we're getting the same XRP consolidation off the low here. So it's a macro pattern. A lot of these structures are making it. So this would be your first wave right here from $1 to 70 cents, and then this is your second wave. This is going to be your third wave. I believe that's lower. Yeah, so from here, this top to this bottom, that's your third wave. And I'm going to mark out the third wave right there and right there. And I got to change the color here. That's going to be red. And this would be your third wave funnel. So it looks as though this wick actually went below. So that actually puts you right there. And technically, this is actually below. Yeah, actually, okay. Technically, upon looking at the structure, there's only two waves here. This was the lowest point of the structure, so you get your first wave and you have an extended second. Now, I believe that this pattern is still holding. It didn't, the main point is this pattern didn't break down like XRP's pattern. We still held this first wave of 70 cents. And we're consolidating here on the end, still in this constriction. We haven't broken one way or the other. You know, we got to move up last night before news was ever released today. We got our move up and it was looking great. Um, and then we got a little bit of a sell-off. So the repricing happened a little bit sooner, and then once the news was digested, you know, things cooled back down, but still at a higher level than where they were at yesterday, which is important even after the news came out. And sometimes liquidity providers want to push price, you know, up into a more neutral zone just so that they can get better fills on orders before some wild news gets released. So we were looking to see, is this going to be the breakout, you know, for XRP, for all the alts? I mean, if we go to total three, we all know the structure that we're making here. I mean, this one's a little bit, I'll get rid of that. This one's a little bit, you know, high slung. It comes up, break structure here. It kind of has a axe mark in the head and then comes up. This would be a real structure. 1, 1, 2, 2, and then 3, 3. If these are even, yeah. So this one actually held higher lows here in total three. And now it looks as though we're getting our move up. Our breakout level is going to be right here of 1.06 trillion. And I believe we haven't broken down out of these structures. We barely held. XRP fell a little further. There was some accumulation happening at 2.8, and then we saw 2.7 hold as a wall perfectly. come up, we're getting clean price action along the bottoms for XRP now, and I believe that these structures are going to break up. Even the volatility from today's news event did not break these structures to the downside. They held. That's the important thing. And there's always a chop to shake people out after you get a low, usually, to lull people to sleep, and then the price chops up. It's actually better if the price chops up um, horizontally so the areas get filled and the order books are even, and it's a more sustainable rally going forward in the future. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you.